Colby Wise.
Yes, thank you all for holding this hearing. Thank you, Commissioner Brody, for opening up this discussion. My name is Colby Wise. I am a resident of Manatee County, but I frequent Sarasota quite often, and I think you guys are actually inspiring me to maybe initiate something like this, or to at least try to within my community as well. I'm also a campaign coordinator for Floridians for Freedom. We're one of the 2 adult use ballot initiative petitions working this state right now. In our opinion, all access to cannabis is more fundamentally of a human right nature than it is of a drug issue. Plants like cannabis have medicinal values. We all know that. We all are accepting that medical cannabis benefits sick people. What we're not realizing is the same plant that can benefit sick people can also prevent many of the illnesses it treats post-diagnosis. So with that said, I would like to say I'm very comforted to hear that a lot of your focus was, in the discussion earlier, was placed on making sure that the citation is more than just an option, that it's more so encouraged. I gave you guys this sheet. It's some recent articles from Miami-Dade where they had done parts of, I don't know if it's the city or the county, but they did some decriminalization there, and the unfortunate event of it is that they've actually increased the incarceration rates and the jail arresting people for cannabis offenses. I would love to see a community step up and do whatever they can finagle. I imagine that would be your job to figure that legally, to where you can make that citation almost as mandatory as possible unless there's violence or some other criteria that forces an arrest to take place. And I say that because of the disparagement to minorities, as well as it actually increased the overall arrest rates. So I don't know if by decriminalizing with an option, it gives people the feeling that it's almost legal, or that it's not just a slap on the wrist, and it's almost setting them up, because then they get stopped and they have a little bit of weed, they tell the officer they have it, they don't think it's a big deal, and then they end up getting arrested because of it. So I just think of anything that you guys could do to strengthen that. And I would suggest to Commissioner Edie that possibly because of the stigma and the huge political implications of the cannabis issue, that I would second the idea that possibly doing one and then adding to it, as I fully agree, non-victimless crimes shouldn't result in jail. Or victimless crimes shouldn't result in jail, especially when there's not violence associated with it or something of that nature, like trespassing and simple things like that. But because of the political stigma surrounding cannabis, it might be better place to do that first as prioritizing that particular misdemeanor, and then moving on very quickly to the other type things, and allow the officers to get more acclimated to this concept that maybe a citation is more warranted than handcuffs. And that's pretty much all I have to say. I look forward to the further hearings and coming down here, and hopefully finding a little bit more support from local Sarasota residents to come and share their thoughts with the commission.
Thank you very much. Okay.